All right, you are listening to an episode of Transparency and Merit. And we are live tonight, and it's me. I'm Joe here with Brian. We have a guest on the line. Guest, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, boy. Oh, God. Sit down, people. It's a very loud crowd. It's a busy night. Angela Truth is here with us.
Yes.
Angela Truth.
On a Super Tuesday.
Super Tuesday. It is. Did everybody go out and get polled?
I got polled and I got told.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, so, wow.
It was a good night for. Well, I mean, everyone was thinking that Mr. Biden was going to be the presumptive, and I mean that Bernie Sanders was going to win it all, and now he's got another old geezer on his tail, riding up on him.
Who's that?
That's old Joe Biden.
Uncle Joe.
I'm sure they're chanting for you, Angela.
Well, we're talking about Uncle Joe. You know, that creepy uncle that you don't want too close to your kids.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen all the clips. Kind of disturbing. A little disturbing. It's Super Tuesday. What's going on? Are there results? What's happening? I don't even know. I don't go out to these
California,
polling booths.
The big, wonderful state of California went for Sanders. Yes.
Now,
did not go for Biden.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
Utah went for Bernie.
It says right now that Biden scores Super Tuesday upset. They said in Massachusetts, but now people are thinking that Biden is now going to win the election. That is the thought. Yeah. I'm cutting right to the chase here.
Wow, that's who came up with that brilliant assessment.
I'm thinking that, you know what, I could be wrong. By the way, there were some hecklers at Biden's speech. People who were against the dairy industry protested. Biden was heckled.
Yes.
The guy who gave up his wife, and child to get into politics. That's all it cost him. Just 2 lives.
Well, so, Angela, what is your assessment? Because you are more involved in Democratic politics, involved in politics than me and Joe have ever been in our lives. Mm-hmm. What is your assessment on the election?
Yeah.
Well, the big changer is that California joined the Super Tuesday.
Oh.
So there is the argument that this is the end all, that it's just a formality. Until July, which is the national convention. The Democratic convention is in July in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I was really upset earlier.
Why?
Because I like Elizabeth Warren. I think she would have been our best chance. But now we have these 2 numbskulls left.
I'll put it. I'll make it clear. The only time I ever saw Elizabeth Warren speak was when she was being mocked on Saturday Night Live. I don't think I've ever seen her really talk.
You really should have watched the last 2 debates. She was hysterical. I could see why they would talk about her on Saturday Night Live. She just wiped the floor with Bloomberg. It was beautiful. And her policies are winnable. They're winnable. Bernie has problems with his policies, so they're not so winnable.
Does she come off as...
So maybe it's better. Go ahead.
Does she present as the every mom? Is that what she's at? Like
No.
that's how they portray her on Saturday Night Live, like this kind of like super mom kind of personality.
Well, she's Oklahoma bred. You know, she came from a very poor, impoverished life, and she had to work hard for where she's at. And, you know, being there for every moment of your child's life, you just can't do both. There's no way. You have to make a choice. You know, but I do want to talk about Biden a little bit. You know, he has a son. I don't know if you've heard of Hunter.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he has an illegitimate child. I know. Oh my gosh, it can't be true. Well, the case is in Arkansas, and it's been quite entertaining. So they try to squash his financials.
That's over in Kings of Talk territory. That's where he lives.
No, he lives in Missouri.
Oh, you're right. He was in
Missouri.
That's right. He came from Arkansas, though.
Mm-hmm. But Benton County, which is not too far from me right now, that's where that case is.
Okay.
And they're trying to expose his financials. You know, when you are talking about child custody and payments, you have to put your financials out there. You know, that's something that could shed some light on the Biden dynasty, I think personally, but who knows? But I have real concerns about, I think Trump probably will get reelected. If Bernie is running against him, people are going to be so unsure of what Bernie has to present that they'll choose Trump. Now it looks like Biden is one of the front runners, the two main ones, and he can't even keep the office straight that he's running for. In the last debate, he said he was running for the Senate. I just can't. I can't support him because Bernie would be the better of the two personally. At least he remembers the office he's running for. What say you?
Well, I think right now it is Bernie's to lose, and I'm thinking that the Democrats are going to go with a choice they think will win, because I think their main objective is to defeat Trump, and they think that Biden has a better chance to defeat Trump than Bernie.
I do have a question. Chatter on the blogs is that Bloomberg's going to drop out tomorrow. So who will he endorse? Will it even matter? And then there's the question of his ever-loving money. You know, he's already thrown in $500 million into the race. Who's he going to put it behind now? It makes me wonder. And there's too many unknowns right now to really give a guess on who is going to be the absolute front runner. We don't have a lot of time between now and July. That's not a lot of time to win the nomination. You know, really tonight was a make or break, but there's some undetermined factors like Bloomberg. You know, he won the American Samoa Islands, all of 4 delegates. But I don't know, people. I think we're going to see Trump reelected, and that's really hard for me to say because I despise Trump.
I'm thinking right now, like I said, I'm thinking right now that it's I still think, I mean, like, who do you think is going to win the primary, Angela? Who do you think who do you think is ahead? I mean, who would you put your money on? Not with your heart, but with your head.
Looking at what people are saying after they voted, that they thought Biden had the best chance of winning, and he has all this momentum. It was really beautiful how they orchestrated all these candidates, you know, Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar. dropping out and then endorsing him. That was a masterpiece. That created momentum, and momentum brings numbers. It truly does in the political world. So I hate to say it, but I see Biden winning it.
Yeah,
because
I think
the old establishment wants Biden. Sure as hell doesn't want Sanders. And we saw what happened last time.
yeah. Well, and then like I said, and I don't know what kind of hard feelings there's going to be, and how difficult things are going to be. So you never. The truth is, Angela, you never know how this is going to turn out. I think it's going to be a close one, but I am putting. If I were to be a betting person, I would put my chips on Biden right now. But
Well,
the thing
I
about
forgot one thing. Biden did say that he would challenge the convention if Bernie came out with more delegates. I mean, he's already has said that. And Bloomberg said he would challenge the convention, but no one took him seriously. But I think if no one reaches that magic number of 1991 delegate votes, then we're going to see challenges at the Democratic convention. Will there be violence? I think there will be. People are pissed off. They're really angry right now. They're tired of what's been going on, the impeachments, just the regular man.
Yeah, I mean, but it's really hard to say. It's hard to say who's gonna. Well, no, actually, for me, like right now, it's still a toss up. But if I were a betting man, Joe, do you have any shekels that you would throw into this, like that you would put on this thing, like if you were given 20 shekels,
Mhm.
and you had to, this guy, it's a funny thing of Bernie spilling water. If you had some shekels to put down, someone gave you $20 worth of shekels to put on a thing to double your money. Who would you bet to win the Democratic Party, Joe?
I have not run the numbers yet fully, but I'm going to say that the Bernie train is first of all, who the hell is going to vote for Joe Biden? This guy is such a quack. He's so goofy. He's disturbing. And he's menacing, and I don't believe a word the guy says. And it bothers me that this guy is even kind of in the running and possibly even a contender at this point. Um, Gosh, if I were to make a bet right now, I would probably take the odds because of the meaninglessness of this, and I would go with the odds, and I would take maybe at like 8-1
Mhm.
and go with Bernie Sanders, just so I can get maybe potentially turning that 20 shekels into maybe whatever that is 120 shekels.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I know that what the thing about the Bernie people, they really are enthusiastic about him.
Mhm. Yeah, they are.
They really are. They
I'm
really.
not surprised California, has him in their sights because all the kids here, they're all. But somehow Bernie Bernie got into the psyche of the youngsters here in California. It's going to be kind of like a youth movement at the polls, and
I'm telling you right now, the lines are around the block.
that's
And
amazing.
I think people are energized, and I think that they're, you know what
Yeah.
I mean. I, you know what I mean. People who are thinking that Trump has this in the bag.
How many red caps are there in that line?
Well, in California, it's dangerous to wear a red cap. But I'm telling you right now
Might throw tofu at you.
that Trump. I mean, and I don't know if this is the way it is around the country, but there are lines around. I mean, like because people were in Iowa. and other places were saying, oh, low turnout. Today, I mean, at least in California, and I don't know if in other parts of the country, there was huge, huge turnout. And will there
Record
be?
numbers.
Is that what they're saying?
Oh, yeah. In many states, it's record numbers. Texas, especially. The Latino vote has come out, Brian. That's part of the surge.
Orange County,
the Latino people
strong
are
voter
voting.
turnout. California, first big test of Sanders voter turnout machine. Yeah, I'm seeing long lines reported at poll stations in Texas and California.
Mm-hmm.
So
Trying
yeah,
to
I
see
mean,
if I can see some chatter on here.
yeah,
I have
anybody who
friends that work for Bloomberg at the national campaign headquarters, and they're all being tight-lipped, and they're not enthusiastic at all. And they usually are. I think they've been told.
Biden won 8 states. Sanders took California and 3 others. So 8-4. Okay.
Well, Sanders took California. Excuse me.
Darren,
I
and by
don't
the way,
know if Texas is still too close to call. Does anybody know? I haven't checked on Texas.
No, they're still turning out.
and Darren thinks that Biden is going to win as well. So Darren's the one person in our chat
Darren's
room.
got Biden. That's kind of the
Darren
even
has
money
Biden.
bet, though. I'm going for the odds. I'm trying to really kind of go for the long shot here, and but I'm not in support of any of these creeps. I think they're all inbred monkeys.
Of course you would.
They're pretty all. I mean, and that's all. Well, I don't know. I mean,
Well, you know what? I'm not a politics.
It's a racket, though. It is a racket.
I'm not a politics guy. A politics kind of guy. I just don't get into those conversations.
I'll be honest with you, Joe. It's kind of a hobby of mine. I'm not that passionate about it. I don't, I am passionate. I mean, for me, certain social issues I'm passionate about, only because like the identity politics, and I'm against. And I think the Democrats have a lock in on that, and I'm against. There are certain things about the Democratic Party that they support with colleges and the and the and the lack of free speech. The left has become very censorious, and so I'm against them on that. And before, the left was not. I mean, like it was the right that got offended, the Christian right that was, wanted these shows off or didn't want this band to play. Now it is the left that
was the Democrats.
Yeah. And, the left is the Democratic Party. And they, like I said, this hate speech crap is just a bunch of garbage.
Did you hear about Jack Brewer, what he said?
What?
So Jack Brewer is a former NFL player. And so Donald Trump met with African-American leaders Thursday. This was the 29th of February, a few days ago. It was the last day of African-American History Month, as you know. And he met with some African-American leaders. One of them, a former NFL player named Jack Brewer. And he said, Mr. President, I don't mean to interrupt, but I've got to say this because it's Black History Month. Man, you're the first Black president. And the room exploded with applause. Just saying. Just something to, he's got a lot of support. Trump's got a lot of support out there.
You know what? I mean, actually, and he does. And the one thing that I don't think Biden has that Sanders has is people will be voting for Bernie Sanders. If Biden gets it, people will be voting against Trump and not for Biden. If Biden runs, they will
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let's look at the state of Tennessee. Biden didn't even make an appearance, nor did his wife. And he won Tennessee. Oklahoma. He didn't show up in Oklahoma. He won Oklahoma. I don't think we can just poo-poo those facts away. You know, Bernie showed up in Tennessee 3 times and he lost.
Well, like I said,
this would be our first U.S. president. I think there's something to be said about that if Bernie wins, and maybe the first dementia. Well, okay, maybe not the first president if Biden wins.
Okay. Biden is. Let me just say this: Biden is largely, in my opinion, winning because in those states, and Biden is getting Democratic voters who dislike Trump. A lot of Democrats dislike Trump more than they love any of the other candidates. You know, and the one candidate that had momentum, who I thought could make the biggest dent, was Andrew Yang. He had a lot of enthusiasm, but you know, somewhere along the line, he didn't have enough momentum. And someone just brought a pizza to Super Tuesday, and it's making me. I might order myself a pizza because I'm hungry now. Oh my God, look, it's so good right now, and I don't want to do it though. My diabetes will go through the roof. But yeah.
Sorry.
So Bloomberg, someone just tweeted. Bloomberg,
I am looking for some numbers. I'll be right back.
Okay. By the way, I'm reading on Twitter. There's someone with a Twitter thing. Bloomberg is trying to reelect Trump. And this woman is a songwriter, singer, white trash, belly ring enthusiast, aggressive, progressive, coffee fanatic, and that little cigarette dash hound mom, patriot. I don't even know what the hell that aggressive, progressive, and she also calls herself a patriot. I don't know about that. Oh, you know what? I'll follow her. I'm just looking at people to follow right now. By the way, Joe, I don't know if you can get on your Twitter, but I tweeted you. And I didn't write anything there, but I did tweet you. I just wanted to get your reaction to the tweet that I gave you. I just thought that would be interesting if you looked at some of your Twitter, if you looked at some of your tweets.
All right, let me see. I got a bunch of connections here. Let me see if I can find it.
There was one tweet of a homeless person that I thought was really good.
Is it just this little 3-second clip?
Bernie.
Whoops. He spilled the water.
Right behind our incumbent, Raul Ruiz, who I call Radical Raul Ruiz. I want to really thank everybody right now.
Please let us stop.
What is this?
Oh my God. Police! Yes, we need a police officer. Vacant robbery and offering 1630 Ocean Avenue. Yes,
that's in San Francisco. By the way, you're listening to people stealing right in the place, you know, just getting a few freebies.
They just walked in with masks, I guess.
Yeah. By the way, I think I saw Antifa today when I was buying my brownies and cookies, which I shouldn't be having because I am type 2 diabetic. But
are you sure they weren't just wearing masks for to avoid the coronavirus?
Yeah, maybe.
So what did they look like?
They weren't wearing masks, but they looked like Antifa types.
Oh.
Yeah, I think, you know, because sometimes they're around because anytime there is an election.
Was it maybe a few?
Wait, you know what? I just got the news. Did Biden just win Texas? That is unbelievable.
I don't know. They said it was too close to call, but there's 228 delegate votes that they have. It would make a huge difference.
Let's see. Super Tuesday.
Whoever they
It
Go
is
ahead.
Super Tuesday.
You know, Joe, I almost, and I don't know if it's inappropriate, but I'm in my Mr. Midnight Movie Twitter page, and I'm almost wanting to send you a tweet from Daddy Areola Muffington.
Yes.
I think
You
I'm
know,
do that
Joe
right now.
Biden barely even campaigned in the United States. You know what he relied on? He relied on those creepy memes that went around. All we've seen of Joe Biden are creepy memes and him getting mocked on Saturday Night Live. And that's been enough for him to win 8 states. I mean,
Well,
it's
he was the vice
almost,
president.
he did have a history as vice president where he did absolutely
Yes.
nothing. Just that big shit-eating grin on his face and that
Oh, yeah.
awful tan. It's really
Well, I
quite a
think
bit.
it's going to come down to Texas. I really do.
Yeah, I don't
And
think
I
there's
believe either side that loses, if it's Biden or Bernie, they'll contest it. I guarantee you on Texas because it's too big to lose.
I don't think it's been decided yet. I haven't seen any victory screams yet for Texas.
But I don't know. I would like to see Trump defeated, most certainly. But
Why? I thought
Brian
you were a Trump.
earlier.
I thought you were a fan of
Sorry?
Trump. I thought you were a Trump fan.
Well, when it comes to policy, I mean, it's completely different for the ordinary person.
You know what? Someone just sent me a secret. You know what? I think I had. This is a good prediction of the winner, Joe. If you look at your Twitter,
Okay.
this man has won. I just think, and if you want to just look at your Twitter, don't show it in public because I want to keep it a secret. But
Oh yeah, sharing is caring.
yeah. Do you think that man is a winner? By the way.
Today maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Can you do screen share?
Not right now. But yeah,
No.
I could, but I'm not going to.
By the way,
Of course not. I don't believe what you're saying. I don't think it's true. It must be fake.
He is a
it might
winner.
be fake. Here's the other thing.
It was just
No,
a joke.
We did have. By the way, we did have. And Andy Bowen says Democrats have to be careful not to blank over Bernie supporters too openly. And like I said, Debbie has said that Biden has won Texas, but we're hearing that Texas is too close to call.
Give us a link, Debbie. If he's a clear
Give
winner.
us a linky poo.
Yeah, I don't think.
She probably didn't even vote today.
Show us your voting badge, Debbie.
Yeah. But let me.
And it can't just be I voted badge because in Dallas County it says I voted in Dallas County. Little sticker. They do things differently there. I don't know.
The voters.
But you said before.
There is a couple pictures
ahead.
I'm looking at. There's a couple. Sorry, Angela. There's a couple pictures I'm looking at, and it looks like a lot of voter turnout in Texas.
Yes, record numbers.
By the way,
and Colorado was a big surprise as well, because usually they just caucus. They don't do a primary. And Sanders won hands down in Colorado. That was amazing. That was a really solid win.
By the way, now because I'm interested in the congressional races. Now Laura Loomer is running in the 21st district, and is that vote up for grabs right now?
Laura Loomer is running? I had no idea.
Congress in the 21st district.
I wonder if everyone knows it's a man.
Come on now. Jeez.
What? You disagree?
Well, if you want to talk about a jerk, about Sink. He was running for Congress in California. Your district, I think.
Don't you think that people should know that?
No.
I wonder but wait a minute. Here's the deal. I'm wondering how Laura Loomer is doing in a congressional race right now.
Here's the voting report right now. Bernie Sanders, 39 delegates, 28%, 393 votes. Joe Biden, 38 delegates, 30.2% of the votes, though, 412,000.
In what state?
Texas, 60. That's
By
after
the way,
64. 412 million,
It could go either way, really.
I don't know how many votes.
For Bernie, I'm going to go to the restroom and take a restroom break because Bernie wants me to. Thank you. I'll be back.
Yeah. Take a Laura Loomer.
I do need to correct Brian since he's going away.
I'm going to take a Laura Loomer and a Bernie.
Does not protect the right to free speech. He's wrong. Especially Bernie. He's all about free speech. I just think he was mistaken. His viewpoints, how he sees Bernie Sanders. So,
let's just watch this quick clip. I don't know if you can see
sure.
it.
And I'm running for Congress in Florida.
Uh-oh.
Nearly 18 years ago, Muslim terrorists killed 3,000 innocents. Sadly, nearly 18 years later, the Democrats in Congress are supporting their freshman colleagues who see that tragic day of 9/11 as merely some people did something. This is one of the reasons why I'm running for Congress. I will expose, confront, and combat the anti-American radicals who are trying to make the blaming and hatred of America the norm. A member of Congress should never support terrorists who want to kill Americans, but that's exactly what Representative Ilhan Omar did when, as a Minnesota state rep, she wrote a judge begging for leniency for 9 men convicted of joining ISIS. And if that isn't enough for you, she was only one of 2 reps in Minnesota to vote against a bill that blocked life insurance payments to the beneficiaries of terrorists killed in attacks. A Palestinian flag, which is really the flag of the terror group Hamas, should never be displayed in the U.S. Capitol. But one is, and take a guess where it is, in the office of Michigan Representative Rashida Tlaib. Those things are unacceptable coming from members of the United States Congress. Yet it happens daily, and congressional Democrats remain silent. It's time to make America safe and Congress sane again.
There you go. Laura Loomer running in Florida's 21st district. No doubt one of the nuttiest districts around. What's going on in the chat room?
Let's check on your friend Sink.
Cenk is there. Last time superdelegates were counted early, Bernie actually did better last time against Hillary by a long shot and still lost. Wasn't his time. It doesn't matter. Trump is going to win by a landslide. Loomer with a cheap backdrop. Yeah. A cheap front drop as well. I'm not big on politics.
Oh, your
I'm not
friend
afraid to say
Sink
it.
was on the 25th congressional district for the primary election on March 3rd. I wonder, it's not, I got to find out if he won. Hold on.
All right. And I got this quote I'm going to play. Let's see. Go over here. Thanks for that link, Darren. Often known as the worst man on the internet, Darren. Let's see what Joe Biden said.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
I gotta hear that
We
again.
hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
Oop.
You know that thing? Let me tell you what I used to do to guys.
All these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
You know the thing.
You know what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm talking. Go look it up.
Let me teach that guy a lesson.
All you millennials, go look it up.
Now, how about the time when Joe Biden challenged that other old man to do some push-ups?
He lost.
Who lost?
Your good friend Sink over at the Young Turks. He lost tonight. Oh my gosh.
Of course he was going to lose.
Some guy named Mike Garcia won. Do you know who he is?
Wait a minute. So, oh, by the way, because we had done shows, by the way, who won in the 21st district? Was it the 25th? Who won in your district, Joe?
25th.
What? Oh, in 25. Oh, here. Let's see who got that one. Yeah.
Mike Garcia did. Guess how many votes your good friend Stink got? 543. That's all he got.
Wow. I'm glad that nobody watches the Young Turks.
So wait. How many?
I bet he's drinking tonight.
Live results of the 25th. Wait. Who?
Katie Hill was running, and
yeah, she resigned last year.
oh no, I mean she held the position. She actually got she quit because she was caught grooming one of her secretaries or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
One of her interns.
So Mike.
Yeah.
So it's going to be. I guess there's going to be a runoff between Christy Smith and Mike.
Mm-hmm. Jill's husband. Oh no, there you go. Oh, you switched my little sister Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh no, there you go. Oh, you switched on me. They switched on me.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, it's all gaffes. There's absolutely no politics come from his mouth. It's just nonstop. It's like Dan Quayle. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Are you talking about his lack of policy?
Oh, he's disturbing to me. Nobody disturbs me more than Joe Biden. I don't claim to know squat about politics, but this guy is. Here we go. Look at this. Oh, this is why
I'm still on.
Never mind. Just insane.
So it's going to be a runoff in the 25th congressional district. It looks like it will be a runoff between Mike Garcia and who's the other Chinky Poo? So yeah, so Chang didn't get anything.
I know. Isn't it great?
My wife is my sister. They switched on me.
Why did you play that?
Sorry, I was trying to hit the perfect facial expression. Oh. Creepy.
But I think this is interesting. Maybe
So yeah, Cenk Uygur
is not so powerful.
Hardly got anything.
Well, nobody.
543 votes.
Nobody knows who he is. Nobody knows him. I mean, come on. You walk down the street. If you walk down the street and ask 10 people here in California who's Cenk Uygur, and nobody's going to tell you who he is. Nobody. Maybe 1 out of 10 people even know who he is. I would say less than that.
If they're a Bernie supporter, they know him.
I mean, you know, if you are like a big political wonk and you're into politics, you know who Cenk Uygur is. You know who the Young Turks are. That's
right.
This must have been a play for the future. 500 votes says nobody knows who the hell he is.
Well, I mean, he's not.
But you didn't have a big voter turnout. I mean, if you look at the numbers, Mike and Christy, they got about 4,700 each.
Oh.
Then some guy named Steve Knight got 2,500. I mean, that's not a lot of votes. What happened to your district?
Well, I think there's a lot of people like me out here who just are fed up with this system and want nothing to do with it.
Or maybe they're just too high to care.
I don't think that's anything to do with it.
But you know what? This is why Joe is perfect for covering politics, because he really doesn't have a dog in this fight. He really doesn't care.
True.
I only care
True.
about my biggest thing is freedom of speech, and yeah. So who has won Texas yet? Has
No winner yet. No winner.
It's too close to call.
Well, I think they're only at like about not even 70% counted up.
I would like to go back to something Brian just said, that, freedom of speech means everything to you, basically. And Trump always tries to squash it. And Bernie Sanders, and well, I can't really talk about Biden, but Bernie Sanders really values freedom of speech. He won't squash it like Trump is trying to squash it.
The left in general, in my opinion, they control they control social media. They started cancel culture, and anytime you rebel against cancel culture, they go against you. So the Democratic Party is entrenched in cancel culture politics, and to me, I just would like to see them just taken, just taken to task for their life. I mean, you know what I mean. And the thing of it is, the people who who cancel speakers are forbid speakers just on speaking on college campuses are all on the left, and they've gotten worse.
Now, I have to say something here. I mean, because I think you might be a little skewed when you're looking at this. Cancel culture is indeed a product of our social media, but the hearings and all of that, that's because of Trump. And that's legitimate. He is really trying to censor you. And the Republican Party is trying to censor you. You can see that on the federal hearings that happen in Washington, D.C. It's not the Democrats that are calling Facebook on the floor, to tell them, you need to do something about this fake news. No, it's the Republicans. Call them on the carpet. And then you can call the left on, I think cancel culture myself is not good, but it's being used and effectively, not really good results. What say you, Brian? I mean, think about it.
Nimbuster's got something to say to you, Angela.
What's that?
He said your voice puts him into heat. Oh, not that. Okay, never mind. You lost him. Okay, go on. What do you got to say about that, Brian?
Yeah, I think Trump may not want to reveal certain things about his own personal life, but it is cancel culture that is part of the left. A lot of these people on social media, there's Jared Holt of Right Wing Watch, and there are other groups that basically get people deplatformed and get them fired and get them lost from their jobs and kick them off of crowdfunding sites. Three Proud Boys who were in court for assault, which was self-defense, basically were kicked off of crowdfunding sites to basically help them against the assault case, which looked like I said, self-defense, and they're really taking. I feel that they are against equal protection under the law with this kind of thing. It feels like the social media giants are pushing a narrative, and if you go against that narrative, they will cancel you. And like I said, we have the 1964 Civil Rights Act, Public Accommodations Act, and I think the type of censorship that big tech is doing to a degree goes against the spirit of the 1964 the public accommodations part of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And in the 1964 Civil Rights Act was inspired by the 14th Amendment. So these social media companies seem to be against the 14th Amendment. I don't hear any response to that.
I think you're missing the point. The right is forming policy. It's holding federal hearings on social media. And cancel culture is because social media and perhaps the left has a big part of that when it uses that tool. They're two separate things, in my opinion, concluded.
Well, I don't think they're I don't think they're the same thing. And I was looking at, by the way, I don't think they're that separated. But I was just looking at George Lincoln Rockwell, who was an American Nazi, and he had a debate with Stokely Carmichael. I think it was at UCLA.
Yeah.
You couldn't do something like this today. And it's unfortunate. We're not children. It's like, if you hear something that's controversial, all of a sudden, like if we allow free speech, all of a sudden Nazism is going to take over. It's just such a bunch of crap.
But it's the right that's squashing your free speech. I'm saying, wake up.
I absolutely. You know what? It was the right.
If you look at policy, it doesn't lie. And the people that are controlling the narrative, at least in Washington, D.C., are the Republicans. They're the ones deciding this.
Okay, let me just say this. In the 90s, in the late 80s and in the 90s, Biden, who's running for president, had congressional hearings about South Africa, about apartheid. Do you think what do you think would happen if the Republicans tried to open up meetings today or congressional hearings about what's going on in South Africa today? Do you think they would try to stop them from doing that? The Democrats?
I don't think they would try, honestly, because they have no power. The Senate is being controlled by the Republicans. We have a Republican president. They passed lots of legislation, but it's being stopped at the Senate.
Let me ask you a question. Again, if they tried to hold Senate hearings about what's going on in South Africa, do you think the Democrats would try to block it?
Certain members of the Democratic Party would. The majority would not.
I disagree. They have used the word white supremacy and racist to stop that debate. And I want to know why. If what's going on, if discussing what's going on in South Africa is a white supremacist dog whistle, I'd like to know why. What are the reasons for that analogy? Because I don't know.
Well, that is a good question. Very good question. And I have a diagram of white supremacy, and it's like a pyramid. I'll send it to you. Maybe it might help you understand. Because I think that's a completely different, another show. What really is white supremacy? Is it thinking that your nationality or your so-called race is better than others? Is that really it? Or is it something else?
How about all groups have their grievances, and all groups have their interests? And by the way, Debbie says that it doesn't matter. Trump is going to win by a landslide. I don't know.
Whatever. No, not the dumpster.
Oh, okay. Please. I thought we were over that.
Over that.
I thought we were beyond it as well. Bathtub Girl, what's
Not
going on?
after what she's done.
Angela,
No. Hell no.
Can you move on? Can you get beyond it?
Get beyond it. I mean,
Because we're not here to
I
fight.
thought you understood
We are not
that was
here
a deal
to fight
breaker.
with each other. We are here to make it a situation where anybody that we know and we've known should all be able.
Someone that has no knowledge of any of this whatsoever.
Okay, so let me say this again. Our show is here for everybody that we know previously and moving forward. Any new people we know, we're not here to crush them or knock them down. We're here to find common ground, and we're here to discuss issues. And we're not here to set people backwards. That's just not what we're going to be doing. So with that in mind,
I see her in the chat rooms. Mm-hmm. I don't acknowledge that.
Okay. You don't have to.
But you bring her up 3 times already, and I said nothing. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. All right, let's skip it. Okay, and I disagree. I'm going to respectfully disagree with that. I just don't agree with that. But here's the deal. Do you think that Trump is? And the truth is, I don't know if Trump is going to win by a landslide. I'm not so sure of that. I mean, with the voting numbers right now, and people waiting hours at this time, there are a lot of people that don't like Trump, regardless of the good economy. Right now, the stock market's not doing so hot, by the way. But regardless of the good economy.
Today was interesting. It started really strong. I was in shock, and by the afternoon, it just took a nosedive. And early on, it was propped up by the lowering of the interest rate by the feds.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're, I think, at the lowest they've been in more than, I think that's now, what is it?
7 years.
7? It's been since 2008. Lowest interest rate, I think, since 2008. I could be wrong.
I could be wrong.
But yeah, that's, anyways, interesting day on the market for sure. I don't know what it meant, but I don't know why it fell after the early spike. Let's let the other side speak. Do we have somebody from the other side, Brian? We're at about an hour.
With the Loomer with the peak, with the cheap Hillary hacked. Let me see.
Well, I showed a Laura Loomer video. One of her vote for me videos.
How is Laura Loomer's district doing? Was she up for? This is how
Florida.
Far off I'm off. How did
Florida? She's in the 21st district.
And how did she do?
You know what? I haven't seen anything about that 21st. I have no idea.
I think that Think race has volumes to say.
Let me see, the 21st district of Florida, and I'm looking here to see how that did.
Surprisingly, it's harder to find real quality information right off the bat like it used to on Twitter
and on Google. I mean, it's so
it used to be where if I did a search for, if I just type in 21st district Florida, I should have everything current, all the tweets from today. The first thing that comes up are tweets from yesterday, unless nobody's tweeted about Florida.
Thank the Republican Party.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but
by the way, it will be updated following the primary, August 18th. Now, I'm not saying has there been any debates on this issue. So this district that Laura Loomer is running in It is 47.9% male, 52.9% female. Race, it's 80.8% white, 12.3% black, 3.2% Asian, 1.3% Native American, and I guess 19.6% Hispanic. Now, the unemployment rate is 10.5%. The median household income is 51,000, a little bit over 51,000. High school graduation rate is 90%. College graduation rate is 33%. I guess, okay, also, let me look at the congressional races. 'Cause, yeah. And Cenk really lost. Cenk Uygur got hardly anything.
Yes,
We already covered that, though.
that's right. No, I think we need to talk about it more. I really do. Because there's many Bernie fans that follow him. Maybe they'll indicate that Biden's really going to win.
Yeah.
And we could look at he has misogynistic statements that he's said for many years. His own mouth did him in.
Yeah.
Well, it's been nice that I've been on here. I'm going to go ahead and leave. I got to get up early. The children's hospital.
I was at the children's hospital today as well. Cenk Uygur, the creator of the Young Turks, was a full-on Turkish nationalist until a few years ago when he decided to go liberal and attack the Dems. He's been behind the bullshit with Katie Hill, the newest hit job on her at least, and there's ties that lead back to him. I don't know about any of that. Not finding out too much new information on Cenk. So real interesting that Twitter's kind of a fail so far for any good information right now.
Yeah, I mean, like
do a show just on him. I bet you would get numbers.
I'll tell you something. That's the thing right now with Google and Twitter. When these censorious people came in, they also hurt information because I think they changed up with a lot with the algorithms and everything else. So getting information seems to have become more difficult, and that is sad.
Yeah.
And Tony Macaroni says Laura Loomer is funny. She definitely isn't going to win, but she's hot. Nobody gives a blank about the wall in Florida. Yeah, you never know. Well, the truth is, I mean, with Cenk, he lost big time, so you never know what's going to happen. So, Is there anything to add before we end this puppy? I think that we've covered all there is. It's still too close to call in Texas. Here in California, Bernie's going to win it, and Joe and Bernie are in a fight in Texas. So,
my dad just texted me and asked me if I'm voting for Bernie. Jeez, come on, people, don't ask me dumb questions.
Help him go to the bathroom like Bernie.
By the way, sumo wrestling resumes, I think, any day now. It's coming up.
Now, that is great news. I think it's tomorrow night.
Oh, it's exciting as heck.
Just a hint.
You like that stuff?
Oh, it's amazing. I'm so into sumo wrestling.
Maybe one of these days
I'll
sit up and I'll try the old. Do they have a senior thing of sumos? Maybe I'll try it. I'm big enough.
Yeah, there might be. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a white guy. Maybe he's Russian. I don't know. That is in some of these matches. Talk to Willie. He can tell you more.
Would love it. All right. So.
Well, let's call it a day. We've been on for over an hour.
We've hit the hour mark.
All right. Well, peace, love, and politics. I'm
Thank
out.
Thank you, Tony Macaroni. I think he's a Millhip dude, if I'm not mistaken. Republic of Liberty, Andy Boner, Nimbuster, Darren, Debbie, of course. Wayne, Mr. White was here.
By the way, I've been called a man in a tin can. I think there's something wrong with
You know, yeah, you sound like you're off mic.
I'm not, though. I'm speaking right into my mic. So.
Well, that's some Tony Macaroni right there. All right. So you've been listening to Transparency and Merit. Like and subscribe. We're so lacking on subscribers. So hit that subscribe button. Do it. All right. That's it.
Or better yet, share it on Facebook or Twitter.
By the way,
grow the community.
As soon as I have a minute, I'm going to be putting together my first book. So I just have had some inspiration. I think it's going to I'm trying for this summer to get it done. And it's mostly written. Just have to do the editing now. And we'll see if I can do it, if I can pull it off. So we have stuff to promote, and we're gonna be doing it bigger and better every time. So make sure you come and check out Transparency and Merit. And you may not agree with us, or you may have input for us. What do we know? Just a couple of, I don't know, what are we? A couple of vloggers.
Yeah.
But thanks for joining us, Angela. Is she still here?
Nope.
Oh, okay. And is that it? You're done?
That's it.
All right. Let's end this thing.